You're just a white person. You're a white person. We don't like white people. Oh. Free Palestine!
You know, I know it's really, really easy to get really depressed and really upset by everything happening to the world. You know, it seems like every single video we see, every story we read, the world is just literally coming apart at the seams, man. We got privileged kids on elite universities across the country literally destroying the place and holding their peers hostage in honor of terrorists, basically. I mean, pretending to be protesting a genocide that isn't happening in a country that doesn't even exist. And you know what? I mean, some of these people believe it. Some of them, they believe it fully. They don't actually recognize that they're being used for the same old anti-Semitic cause that the crazies of the world have been using since the dawn of time. They just keep rebranding it. But I'm here to tell you, man, all is not lost. Those of us with common sense and decency, we are not alone. The kids at UNC Chapel Hill, man, they made it their mission to take down a foreign flag and raise the flag of the United States. And these are clips you got to see.
Can you talk about what everything has transpired today?
We want them here.
This university doesn't belong to a small group of protesters. It belongs to every citizen of North Carolina. Everybody in North Carolina. Everybody who goes to school here, everybody who lives and works here. The flag represents all of us. To take down that flag and put up another flag, no matter what other flag it is, that's antithetical to who we are, what this university stands for, what we have done for 229 years. The broad majority of this campus knows how to express their views without shouting, without violating university policy. That flag will stand here.
So proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight. O'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly.
You know, I can't even say much about that. That is just fantastic to see. The only thing I can say is thank God that some of these kids have freaking parents that raised them right, you know. But I mean, here's the sad thing when you watch this. You know, we have allowed all this stuff to happen to these kids. You know, you always hear politicians, you know, getting up, and when they're talking about fiscal policy, they always say, you know, we're stealing from future generations. And that's true. We are. You know, we do exactly that. But the real robbing from future generations, I think when I see these things, I think it's cultural. You know, we have robbed from future generations, from this generation, culturally and morally. I mean, the world is so backwards and so wacky that some people are going to view these kids as the bad guys. You know, these are the kids people are going to probably be demanding get kicked out of school. And that's just crazy to me, man. It's just crazy to me. I'm almost sure these kids are going to be branded as the bad guys. And the kids over at Columbia, who need to be removed by literal SWAT teams from the building that they occupied, which is pretty freaking funny when you think about it. I mean, typical leftists, they're calling for the end of an occupation by committing an actual occupation. They just can't see it. But these are the good guys.
It's new this morning. At least 100 people were arrested last night when the New York Police Department cleared out protesters from Columbia University's Hamilton Hall. You see police entering this administrative building, which was seized by demonstrators about 20 hours earlier through a second-floor window. They used a vehicle with a ramp on it to get into the building. The campus was cleared of protesters just before 11 p.m. New pictures and video released by the university shows overturned, stacked furniture, broken windows, and other damage inside that hall. The university has asked the NYPD to monitor campus through at least May 17th.
Watching this now unfold, what we're witnessing here, Mr. Speaker, is an extremely dangerous police operation. They are now trying to get into the building. I believe that has to be Hamilton Hall that was taken over by students last night. And you can see they're outside one of the windows to the building. They have no idea what they're facing on the other side of this. And again, I go back to the reality is that none of these students will end up getting punished. Maybe the worst case scenario, based on what the president of Columbia has said, maybe a suspension. On a lot of these college campuses, Mr. Speaker, you know, God forbid you use the wrong well, the police now have entered the building, as you can see. One officer is in. A second officer now is climbing through the window. Others are standing by. They're following in suit. What is going to go on inside that building is, you know, it could be up to anybody's imagination. What danger they may face on the other side, nobody knows. What we do know is that any students that end up getting arrested there probably are not going to be punished in New York. An extraordinarily dangerous situation.
You know, that's a great point, man. That is an NYPD SWAT team putting themselves at risk to reclaim a building from terrorist sympathizers at one of the most elite universities in the entire freaking world, man. And Hannity's right. You know, we should watch and we should follow this to see how right he is. But I would bet that these kids, they're not even charged with real crimes. No one will be held accountable. Felonies will be downgraded to misdemeanors, and misdemeanors will just disappear. They'll be expunged by the very same people that have taken 2 expired 8-year-old business-related misdemeanors that Donald Trump is accused of and resurrected them and turned them into 34 shiny new felonies, right? And that right there tells you everything you need to know about radical policy, radical tactics, radical agenda, and radical people serving as DAs. I mean, you can smash, you can burn, you can deface, you can commit violence if you'll allow yourself to be used by the left. But if you're on the right, you better use the crosswalk, basically. But better yet, you probably shouldn't even be there. And you know what? I think we are seeing that people are listening to that. We are seeing a mass exodus. We're going to see even more. You know, we see a mass exodus from places like New York to places like Florida and Texas. But I think we're going to see it affect these kinds of universities as well. You know, you have people with young kids watching all this stuff happen right now, and they're never going to send their kids to Columbia. And, you know, flip side of that, people who have never even heard of Chapel Hill, they're now going to move a place like that right to the top of the list. And it's crazy to imagine, you know, but I think you can already see that the country is segregating itself, but it's a segregation that's got nothing to do with color, nothing to do with creed, nothing to do with anything intangible. All it is people with and people without common sense. I mean, it is really that simple, but that's just my take, guys. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. If you haven't already, be a part of our growth. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Most importantly, share the channel. I'll see you in the next one.